Hey, good afternoon again, everyone, and welcome to our subject, Design of Steel Structures. And for today, we'll be continuing our discussion in the connection of steel sections. So specifically, welded connections na tayo. So based from our previous discussions on the previous weeks, we focus ourselves with identifying or analyzing and designing yung mga bolted connection, may it be bearing type connection or slip critical connection, and also kapag siya ay combined loadings na tayo or eccentric, we did not cover yung eccentric, pero I hope you will have the chance to read yung eccentric loading kasi that is also important for the design and analysis of bolted connection. Pero for today, we will be um, moving forward with welded connection, which is compared with the bolted connection discussion. This will be much more simpler, much more direct, and much more easily understood by student. Ano? Kasi nga, mas madaling yung mga formulas and codes na specified under this topic are more straightforward. No? Okay? So, to start, let us define, of course, kung ano ba yung tatawag nating welding. So, I hope everyone is familiar na with what is welding. So, when we talk about welding, so it is a fabrication process na ang goal niya is to join yung materials natin, specifically yung mga sections natin, structural steel natin, that made up of metals, of course, by causing fusion. Okay? So, welding of a structural steel section allows ng creation ng strong and durable structure. Kasi minsan, meron tayong mga section na hindi ma-fabricate or wala na dun sa standard shape natin. Or we want to stiffen halimbawa yung beam natin. We want um, to put cross bracings along its length para nga yung kanyang halimbawa, yung kanyang lateral torsional buckling ay makontrol or malesen yung value ng LTB niya. So we try to stiffen those elements by introducing plates dun sa section natin, and then we try to one way of connecting these plates dun sa beam natin is through welding. Okay? So structural steel sections are commonly welded together to form beams, kapag halimbawa built-up sections yung pinag-uusapan natin, columns, trusses, and other load-bearing elements in buildings, bridges, and various infrastructure projects. And in general, kapag structural application ang pinag-uusapan natin, there are 4 welding methods na kailangan natin maintindihan or malaman. Ano? Pero for our case, isa lang talaga yung pinaka ginagamit natin for the for the analysis, which is yung first one, which is yung SMO, yung shielded metal arc welding. You also have yung gas metal arc welding, yung GMO, o yung flux cored arc welding, yung FICO, and yung submerged arc welding, o yung yung SAW, for that matter. Okay? So let us differentiate these 4 welding methods. First, we have yung shielded metal arc welding. So, ito yung most common na type ng welding na nakikita natin kahit dun sa mga small projects lang or residential projects. Kaya nga, si shielded metal arc welding, si SMO, minsan tinatawag siyang stick welding. So pag tinignan mo yung nagwe-welding sa habaw, may mga fina-fabricate na fencing sa bahay ninyo or may mga kinukumpuni na mga aluminum, habaw, may inaayos na door, na window. Minsan, ito lagi yung nakikita natin. Meron tayong nakikita na parang stick, no, na kinakabit dun sa welding machine, and then yun yung nag-spark, ano? So that is basically yung smoke method natin ng pagwe-welding. So it is a process na gumagamit siya ng metallic consumable electrode. Yung electrode na yun yung nakikita natin na ito, no? Ito mismo yung electrode na yun. Okay? And then that electrode is being uh, uh, melted, ano? O yung mini-melt natin yung electrode na yun para i-fill yung gusto natin i-connect na mga workpieces, ano? So yung molten electrode metals fills the weld gap and joins the workpieces. So pag makikita nyo, mahahawakan nyo mismo yung electrode na yun, meron siyang parang covering o magaspang na layer. That is actually yung coating niya. para hindi tayo expose agad doon sa electrode mismo. And then, once na in-apply na sa, weld na siya, katulad ng ginagawa dito, no? So, nagkakameron siya ng spark. So, minemelt na nung mismong machine o nung energy, yung mismong electrode natin, na habang ginagawa to, mapapansin nyo, merong parang ah, gas layer na nafo-form, which protects yung mismong ah, molten weld natin, molten electrode natin para ma-form niya, ma-solidify siya as a weld dun sa mismong ano natin, sa steel, dun sa workpiece na pinagko-connect natin. Okay? So, ganito yung, ayan, as I've said, ganito yung itsura niya, no? So, syempre, kung ganito yung nangyayari sa kanya, very prone sa na may tumalsik na mga na mga slugs doon sa mismong o mga yung electrode mismo, yung mismong gas mismo is ano siya, no, delikado siya ma-expose sa mata natin. And of course, yung light din. Kaya we need to have welding shields, ano, welding mask in order to operate this kind of welding process. Okay? So, ano yung mga advantages and disadvantages niya? Advantages, it's simple, portable, and inexpensive equipment niya. Okay? So, kung mga smaller projects or you are just a beginner in the construction industry and you have a welder na skilled, so basta meron ka ng welding machine and you have yung electrodes, you can perform na yung welding agad, ano? And then, wide variety ng metals and welding positions are available. So, ibig sabihin, kahit horizontal, pa-vertical man, o kung ano mang posisyon yung pagwe-welding mo, ano siya, no? Applicable siya, pwede siyang gamitin. Suitable siya for outdoor application. So, uh, pwede sa labas. Pero sometimes, syempre kung may exposure sa malakas na hangin, yung protecting gas natin dun sa mismong yung nafo-form, no? Yung nafo-form na protecting gas dun sa melted electrode natin. Minsan, na dissipate yun kapag sobrang lakas ng hangin. Which is, nawawala ng protecting gas yung mismong ano natin. So, medyo delikado siya doon sa welder na exposed doon sa mismong uh, electrode na minemelt. Okay? Disadvantages, so the process discontinues due to limited length ng electrode. Siyempre, kapag halimbawa, paubos na yung electrode, mapuputol yung trabaho, kailangan mag-refill. Ano? So, kumbaga, yung kung hindi masyado skilled yung welder, magiging iba yung itsura o kita-kita mo kung saan natigil yung portion ng pagwe-weld. Okay? So, weld may contain slag inclusion. Okay? So, pwedeng may mga namumuo daw na mga, ano, lalo na kung halimbawa nga hindi pa well-experienced yung welder, sometimes hindi may iwasan na may mga part na namumuo dun sa welded connections natin. And then fumes make difficult the process control. Okay? Ayan, so yan po yung sa small, yung stick welding na tinatawag natin. Okay? Then next we have yung tinatawag nating gas metal arc welding or yung GMO o minsan tinatawag na MIG welding o metal inert gas welding. Okay? So for this type of welding process, may arc welding process tayo in which yung weld is shielded by an external gas. Okay? Yung external gas na yun may be argon, helium, carbon dioxide, or a combination of argon and oxygen, or other gas mixture. So, papansin niyo meron siyang, hindi siya nakastick, meron na siyang nozzle na kasama, and then, dinadirect mo yung application ng electrode mo dun sa gusto mong i-connect na material. So, halimbawa, dito sa portion na to, ito yung wineweld niyang part. So, directed niyang ilalagay yung portion na may nozzle, yung may copper nozzle, dun sa kung saan niya gusto ipadaanin yung mismong electrode wire na nandun sa loob ng nozzle natin. Okay? So, meron siyang continuous wire, no? Kaya mahaba yung nito, no, yung supply. So, unlike sa stick welding, mas continuous yung welding natin. Okay? So, kasi do sa welding gun natin, may continuous wire being fed to it, and then yung molten metal is protected from the atmosphere by the gas na na-form. Ito yung may shielding gas din na na-form na made up of this particular gas mixtures. Okay? Which is fed through a conduit to the tip of the welding yan. So some advantages nito, as I've said, wala tayong interruption kasi yung supply ng electrode wire are continuous. Meron siyang high level, kailangan high level ng operators, hindi kailangan ng high level ng operation skill. O ibig sabihin, kahit hindi super super experienced yung welder natin, as long as he know how to operate yung machine, yung equipment, he can use yung sa GMO natin. Pero depende pa din syempre sa demand ng project. Kung halimbawa, demand ng project, kasi may mga testing din yan after ng pag-weld, may mga testing na ginagawa yan to justify yung requirement ng AWS naman yung mismong code for welding. Okay? So, slag removal is not required kasi nga wala daw na na-generate na slag kasi continuous yung mismong paglilay ng molten electrode natin dun sa workpieces natin. Disadvantages niya, expensive siya. Okay, of course, kung maganda yung benefit na gagamit ng user, syempre, sigurado mas mahal yan. And yung equipment na yun, hindi siya portable, hindi siya pwedeng walang power source. Ano? Kailangan may power supply lagi kasi nga para mag-continuous yung delivery ng electrode dun sa mismong workpiece natin. So, hindi siya pwede for outdoor application or after mong ilabas yung mismong section mo from the fabrication site, mahihirapan ka nang gamitin si MIG welding kasi nga it needs to be attached sa near power source, no? And of course, since may na-form ng gas dun sa dulo niya, no? Very prone siya na ma-disperse yung mismong gas natin once na-expose siya sa wind. Kaya isa yun sa challenges when using metal inert gas welding or GMO natin. Okay? Next and third one, so flux cord arc welding yung FICO o VCAW. So parehas lang sila ng GMO. Okay? Meron siyang continuous wire na fina-fed doon sa welding gun natin. Ang difference niya is yung filler wire is may core siya, no? So kung mapapansin nyo dito, yung mismong ano niya, dito, no? Di ba kanina doon sa GMO, meron lang siya nitong carbon na nozzle, ano? Dito. Okay? Yan. Dito sa kanya, pag zoom natin, hindi na din kita, no? Pero meron siyang na-form dito na ito, meron siyang coating pa. Okay? So parang yung stick welding na dinirect mo o pinasok mo sa GMO. Okay? So mas yung application ngayon ng welding, mas diretso dun sa workpieces natin. So mas malapit yung kumbaga yung molten weld natin na magfo-form. Mas malapit yung kapit dun sa mismong workpiece natin. Okay? So with this process, possible na to weld with or without a shielding gas. Okay? So kahit kaya hindi siya masyadong mausok kumpara dun sa mga other processes. So kaya pwede siya sa mga exposed condition. Lalo na pag mga katulad nito nasa halimbawa nasa labas ka ng fabrication site or nasa mismong site ka na exposed ka sa wind, hindi masyado hindi masyado delikado kasi yung gas na nafo-form sa kanya is limited or walang nafo-form na shielding gas sa kanya. Okay? Advantages nitong flux cord arc welding are as follow. Suitable siya for high-speed welding application. So usable sa variety of metals. Okay? Flexible kahit anong welding position, may it be horizontal, vertical, inclined, okay, or overhead. Less susceptible to wind. Disadvantages niya, mas prone siya sa porosity. Okay, so ibig sabihin yung yung pamumuo din, slag formation the weld bit may be present. Okay, Kasi nga dahil nga mas high speed yung welding process mo, sometimes di may iwasan na may namumuo dun sa mismong ah, molten weld natin. Okay? Equipment requires skilled operators for optimal results. So kailangan talagang um, may mga certification yung mismong welder natin. And then flux may be trapped in the weld metal. So pwede daw ma-trap yung mismong yung parang stick, yung filler wire dun sa mismong molten o yung sa weld pool natin. Kapag hindi masyadong napansin ng welder na kinakain na mismo nung molten weld natin, yung mismong flux electrode natin, yung parang stick welding natin dun sa may nozzle natin. Okay? And then, lastly, we have yung yung submerged arc welding. So, submerged arc welding, kung mapapansin ninyo, ang itsura niya, para siyang, kaya nga sa submerge, may sa ilalim o nakabana sa yung welding process, nangyayari siya habang nandun sa loob nung ito yung parang mga cut later na sand. Okay? So, doon sa loob nun, doon nangyayari yung mismong welding process niya. So, ibig sabihin, binabalutan siya nung tinatawag natin mga granular shielding flux doon sa weld natin. And then, so kung may nakaharang na parang mga sand doon, wala siyang na-form na gas, And this particular type of welding process, automated siya. So, minsan machine na lang yung So, very na lang siya. Limited na yung uh, operation ng mismong welder. And makikita nyo dito sa baba, kahit wala na masyadong protection. Kasi nga, yung mismong ignition na nangyayari o uh, yung nakakabulag ng mata na nangyayari sa pag nagwe-welding is covered by the granular na shielding flux na ginagamit during this process. Okay? So for this process, advantage niya, very high welding rate, yung suitable siya for automation, okay? O sobrang haba ng mga gusto nating i-welding, mas maganda siya. Ang downside lang nito is, ito nagagamit lang siya for horizontal lang siya, application lang siya. Okay? So hindi siya pwede pag halimbawa ang gusto mong i-weld is for vertical, hindi siya pwede. Kailangan yung mismong workpiece mo is ilalatag mo sa kanya and then tsaka lang niya pwedeng horizontal lang yung placement ng kanyang weld. Okay? So yung disadvantage, weld may contain slag inclusion, kasi pwede mag-solidify kasama yung mga yung parang mga granular na flux, Pero all in all, dito sa apat na methods natin, again, ang pinaka-concern lang natin for structural, laging ginagamit for structural application is yung sa smoke. Okay? So yung sa stick welding lang muna tayo. Okay? Kasi itong other welding processes are depende sa demand ng project, and as structural engineers, so ang goal naman natin is to calculate yung mismong capacity nung steel section natin na connected. Itong pagdating sa welding, yan po ay trabaho na po ng mechanical, under mechanical na po yan. Okay? So kaya very lang yung natin. Kailangan lang maging aware tayo sa other type of welding process. And then for the actual testing of these welds, it is out of scope na of the structural engineer or yung civil engineering discipline. Okay? Next, after these processes, so we also have different types of welding. Okay? So yung kanina, method siya ng welding. Ngayon, type of welding. So in structural engineering application, we have various types of welds used to join yung structural components natin to create a strong and durable structure. So we have 4 types of welds. I'm sure meron pang other types, pero ito yung most common na ginagamit. Okay? Number 1 is yung tatawag natin tack welds. So pag tack weld siya, so temporary weld lang siya. So ginagamit ito halimbawa gusto mo lang pansamantalang pag-connectin yung dalawang material, para makita mo. Or ano muna, temporary muna siya. And then, ayan, katulad nito, no? So, yeah, hindi pa all throughout nung length ng workpiece o nung kailangang i-connect na part yung wine-weld natin. So, some parts pa lang para makita natin ah yung kanyang application na ano pa lang, na preliminary pa lang. And then, once na-decide na natin kung talagang tama yung welding position na gagawin natin, tsaka pa lang natin gagawin yung other type of welds. Okay? Then we have yung mga fillet welds. Fillet po, no? Hindi fillet. So, fillet po ang tawag. So, sinerch ko din talaga po yung pronunciation. Fillet welds talaga, hindi po fillet welds. So, most common type ito ng weld. And ito din po yung gagamitin natin for our calculations. Lagi pong fillet welds yung gagamitin natin. Okay? So, kasi ito yung most common na ginagamit niya. So, a bit of weld is placed along two adjacent members. So, kapansin nyo dito, meron tayong meron tayong examples later, no? Pero we have two members. Siguro ito is a T-joint, ano? And then makikita nyo meron siya ditong weld. So meron siyang welding dito sa portion na yan. So ano siya, no? Nagki-create tayo ng connection between two adjacent member, dalawang magkatabi na welding na work pieces, and then joining them together by welding. We have yung groove welds. So, groove welds naman made in a groove between workpieces. So, ganito po yung itsura ng groove weld. So, ganito, no? Okay. So, nangyayari, most commonly use siya kapag meron tayong splicing ng two plates. So, ibig sabihin, meron tayong dalawang plate and then gusto natin pagdugtungin yung dalawang plate. So, minsan groove weld yung ginagamit. Okay. Then we have plug or slot welds. Pag plug or slot welds, hindi siya masyadong common but can be used to transmit yung mga shear and lap joints natin. Kaya papansin nyo dito, pwedeng example niya, ganito, no? So we have, bawa, we intend to increase yung thickness ng plate. Okay? So pwedeng ginagawa niya is, yan, nagpa-plug weld siya or nag-slot weld siya. Kaya, so, hindi siya masyadong ginagamit, ano? Kaya wala din ako makuha masyado example ng application ng plug and slot weld. Pero again, for our case, tack welds or fillet welds yung ating gagamitin. Okay? So, after that, we have yung mga iba't ibang welding joints, so welded joints. So, pag sinabing joints, it refers to the location where two or more pieces of metal are joined together. So, may mga different types of welded joints used depending sa configuration niya. So, discuss natin isa-isa. Yung first one, we have yung butt joint. Okay? So, pag si butt joint na pinag-uusapan, we have two pieces of metal, ina-align natin siya, and then, ang ginagawa natin, welded together along their adjoining edges. So, kapag halimbawa dito, may dalawa tayong plate, ito yung edge ng mga plates natin. So, kapag i-weld natin siya, yung mga edges yung pagdudugtungin natin. So, pag pinagdikit mo yung dalawang edge niya, and then nilagyan mo ng weld, that is butt joint. So, kapag butt joint, ang parang ginagawa natin, same plane dapat siya, no? Dapat siya ay same plane. Yung workpieces natin, dapat same siya ng orientation o ng pagkakalatag parehas siya para mag-butt joint siya. So, usually, pag naging ganun yun, ang ginagawa, dito natin nilalagyan ng weld, ano? Pag kadikit na siya. So, doon pumapasok si groove weld, ano? Mas maganda si groove weld pag mga butt joint connection. Kasi, yun nga, kapag halimbawa na uh, na i-splice tayo ng two plates, that is actually yung edges ng mismo plate natin, pinagdudugsong natin. Okay? We have si lap joint. Pag si lap joint naman, ibig sabihin ng lap joint, ibig sabihin, syempre, yung isang plate, ino-overlap natin with the other. Okay? So, pag kay lap joint, ang natin is, tinitingnan natin yung overlapping edges niya. No? So, dito, pwedeng maglagay tayo ng weld dun sa along, no? And then dito sa ilalim, pwede din tayo maglagay ng weld dun. So, parang ganito. Halimbawa, we have this two plate. Okay? Then, lalagay natin yung weld dito sa portion na to. And then dito sa portion na to. Pwede tayo mag-fillet weld dun. Okay? So, ibig sabihin kapag pag lap joint na pinag-uusapan, so meron tayong overlapping edge, ano? Yung joining sheet, yung joining pieces natin may have different thicknesses. So basta nag-overlap naman ito. So overlapping to. Okay? Next, we have T-joint. So kapag T-joint, syempre, dapat meron tayong perpendicular na piece. Ano? So halimbawa ito, we have a horizontal plate, meron tayong vertical na plate. So kapag tinignan natin yung kanyang cross-section, pwedeng mangyari, ito yung ating vertical na piece, tapos ito yung ating horizontal na piece. So pwedeng lagyan natin ng welding dito. Okay? So that is a T-joint. So kapag sa T-joint, again, perpendicular tayo or at right angles tayo. So dito, requirement, perpendicular yung ating mga workpieces. Okay? Then we have mga corner o outside corner joint. So pag corner joint, this weld is made along doon sa intersection ng two components natin. So ibig sabihin, halimbawa, ito yung plate natin na isa, then ito yung plate natin pangalawa. So yung weld niya, pwedeng gawin natin is pag ganito yung weld niya. Okay? Para mag connect siyang, para maging one unit siya. Okay? So kapag corner joint, meron tayong intersection ng two components naman, ano? May intersection tayo of two components. Okay? And then last, we have yung tinatawag natin edge joint. So sa edge joint, as ginagawa naman natin pag edge joint is joining lang yung edges natin, ano? So kung halimbawa we have okay, ito, then ito. Okay, so ito yung example na naka-curve siyang ganun, ano? Okay, so pwede siguro ganyan, ano? Yung paglagay ng weld sa kanya. Okay, so typically, one piece positioned perpendicular to the other or may mga adjoining yung edges natin. Okay, joining sheet metal. So ganun yung example niya. Wait nga lang, double check ko nga, ano? Mamali ang okay. So, mali nga yung aking pagkakalagay ng weld, ano? So, yung weld natin should be hindi dun sa nilagay ko, dito sa taas. Okay? Ayan. Nag-groove weld tayo dun sa taas. So, yun yung pwedeng mangyari sa kanya. So, meron siya dito. Ayan. Okay? Welding dun. So, pwedeng keyword natin sa kanya is meron tayong adjoining edges, ano? Tayong adjoining edges. Okay? So, ayan. So, yan yung, yan yung tatawag na welded joint. So far, meron tayong different welding process, different types of weld, and then meron tayong different types ng joints. So, mga kailangan lang natin maintindihan kasing term to, no? Para mas madali natin ma-digest yung sa code, no? Ang next is yung iba't ibang welding position. Okay? So, welding positions are crucial because they determine yung orientation ng weld joint relative to gravity, which can affect yung quality and integrity ng weld natin. So, yung significance ng welding position lies in their impact on the accessibility ng weld joint o yung welding technique required to produce yung mismong welding na kailangan natin for the workpieces be combined together. So, dito, as the habang bumababa yung level niya, mas sumihirap yung actual application niya kung paano siya gawin sa site, ano? Kaya dito sa flat na position, mas madali ito, no? Kasi nakalatag lang mismo yung mismong uh, workpieces natin and then we try to weld yung connection niya. Okay? Kaya ito yung mas madaling type ng positioning kapag naka-flat yung position niya. Then we also have yung horizontal. Okay? So sa horizontal, ang tinitingnan natin is yung way ng pag-ano natin ano, kung ano yung direction ng mismong wine-weld natin. So dito, pa-horizontal in X and Y direction or X and Z direction yung mismong ah, direction ng pag-weld natin. And then, we have yung vertical. So, ibig sabihin, along Y-axis tayo or Z-axis, kung ano man yung axis nyo. So, pababa, pataas naman yung kanyang pag-weld. Okay? And then overhead, ibig sabihin sa ilalim naman. So, ibig sabihin, habang wine-weld siya, nakatingala yung nagwe-weld, yung welder natin. Kaya overhead siya. So, again, habang pababa yung position ng mismong welding natin o yung type ng welding position natin, pag paghirap niyang gawin on site. Okay? Kaya it takes years of experience and exposure talaga for a welder to be a very skilled individual dito sa field na to. Okay? And then, we have yung mga welding symbol natin. So, pag tinignan natin sa ASC, ito po yung mga welding symbol na ginagamit. And as you can see, pag may mga nakita kayong plano ng mechanical o ng connection, ganito yung makikita nyo. And minsan, nakaka-overwhelm siya on our part kasi tayo as civil or structural engineer, hindi natin kailangan lahat ng symbols na to. Okay? Kaya tayo, for our discussion, for our sake, we will just focus on fillet welds again. Kaya ito lang yung symbol na i-discuss ko sa inyo ngayon. Ano? So si fillet welds, no, nakalagay dito, ang symbol niya is a triangular. Okay? So, every time na meron tayong weld, tinuturo natin siya by an arrow. Okay? May arrow tayo. So, tinuturo natin yung weld na yon and then nilalagyan natin siya ng specification. So, kung ano yung mismong properties na meron yung weld natin. So, pag may nakita tayong triangle dun sa arrow natin, dun sa arrow line natin, ibig sabihin, fillet welds yung ating ginagamit. Okay? So, katulad nito, halimbawa, may welding tayo dito. So, tinuro natin yung welding. Naglagay tayo ng triangular dito. Ibig sabihin, fillet welds itong in-apply niya dito. Welding type. Okay? So, ano ibig sabihin kapag nasa ilalim o nasa taas yung mismong triangle natin? Kapag nasa ilalim po yung triangle, ibig sabihin, nandun sa arrow side yung mismong weld natin. Sabihin, kung saan nakaturo yung arrow, nandun yung welding. Okay? Kaya, titingnan nyo to, dito nakaturo yung arrow. Pero yung triangle niya nandun sa kabila. Ibig sabihin, other side yung may welding. Kaya ito yung may welding na side sa kanya. Okay? O kung halimbawa, both side ng workpiece natin ay may welding, ang gagawin natin, yung baba at yung taas, lalagyan mo ng triangle para to indicate na both side o yung this side na may arrow and then the other side of the arrow, meron siya parehas welding. So, ganun lang kasimple yung sa symbol natin for fillet welds. Okay? Ngayon, paano naman yung sa numbering? Ano? So, dito yung may mga numbers din nilalagay. Sa left side ng triangle, okay, doon nilalagay yung kung ano yung size ng weld natin. Okay, this is yung size ng weld. Size ng weld, and then this is yung length natin. Okay, so kung dito in inches yung example natin, ano, ayan, nakalagay, fillet welds on near side, size of weld is 1/4, given to the left side of the weld symbol, and length to the right of the symbol. Okay, so kaya ito, ibig sabihin, meron tayong weld on the other side ng arrow, meron siyang size na 1/2 inch, and then ano yung 2 at 6? Pag meron siyang 2 inches long, intermittent weld, 6 inches on centers. So, di ko alam yun. So, intermittent weld, 6 inch on centers. So, ibig sabihin, every after 2 inches, mayroon siyang spacing na 6 inches. Okay? So, kung halimbawa, ito yung plate natin. So, meron tayong weld na 2 inches and then may spacing ng 6 inches. Maglalagay ka ulit ng weld dito. Okay? Ito yung 6 inches, ito yung 2 inches. Okay? Next, ito halimbawa to, so both side nung ating workpieces ay merong tig 1/4 na size, and then may 6 inches na length, and then meron siya ditong flag. Okay? Yung flag na yun, andito yun, no? So, yung flag na yun, ito. Ibig sabihin, field well symbol. So, ibig sabihin, gagawin sa field. Okay? Yung mismong ano to, 1/4 inch fillet filled weld on both sides and 6 inches long, as well same on both sides is not necessary but permissible to give sizes on both sides of line. Okay? The flag indicates kailangan na filled weld dapat siya. Okay? So dapat on-site siya gagawin yung welding na yan. Okay? Habawa ito, staggered interminate of 3/8 inch fillet weld, 2 inches long. So both sides. So parang katulad nitong nandito, no? Nilagay lang niya na both side. Meron. And then kapag halimbawa may bilog yung arrow natin, it means all around ng joint symbol. Lalagyan natin. So kahit hindi mo nalagyan ng ganito, tapos lagyan mo lang ng all around doon. So ibig sabihin may weld ka all around. Okay? Then pag merong tail, may specific requirement o specification na ginagamit. So tayo, basically, ito lang yung gagamitin natin for our problems. May nakaturong arrow and then may fillet welds, merong thickness, merong length. Yun lang yung kasi nga simple connections lang pinag-uusapan natin. And when dealing with other type of connections o yung more complicated connections, it will require a different or a more extensive discussion. Hindi lang yung ganitong one topic lang. So parang one course talaga siya para maintindihan. Ano? Okay? So, ngayon, since na-establish natin na fillet welds lang yung gagamitin natin, let us now determine how we will be considering yung capacity ng fillet welds na nakalagay sa atin. So, yung capacity ng fillet welds is defined based doon sa tinatawag natin effective throat thickness niya. Okay? Ng weld natin. So, ano daw yung effective throat thickness? That is the distance from the root of the weld to the face of the weld. Halimbawa, meron tayong weld. Ito yung weld natin. Okay? So, from the root, so ang root niya yung nandun sa pinakadulo, yung sa mismo intersection ng workpieces natin. Yung distance niya papunta dun sa mismong weld natin. Yun yung throat. Okay? Pero, since ang kailangan natin is yung effective lang, no? So, ang ina-assume ni code is may theoretical throat tayong ginagamit. So, ang ginagawa, kinukuha natin yung 45 degrees, ano? Nito. Okay, naka 45 degrees to. Okay? So, itong distance na to, ito yung effective throat natin na T sub E. Okay? Kaya mapapansin nyo dito, kapag ganito naman, ito convex yung type ng weld natin. Okay? Convex o palubo. Ito yung concave. And then this is letter C is parang kaparehas lang ng convex, ano? Tama ba? Concave, convex. Baliktad. Parang baliktad, ano? Okay. Wait lang Verify ko lang. Joint in welding. Okay, correct. Ano? Convex yung nakapalobo, concave yung nakapaloob, ano? Okay. And then, kapag ano siya, flat, kamawa, naka-triangular lang, flat yung tawag natin sa kanya. Okay? So, ayan. So, pag meron tayo doon, para makuha yung mismong effective throat natin, let's say yung legs natin na to is W, o tawagin natin letter A, no? Para makuha yung length na yon, kunin natin yung right triangle. Okay? Okay, may right triangle tayo. Meron tayong ito yung effective throat natin. This is 45. So para makuha yon, that is just opposite over at hypotenuse. That is, nasa ba yung hypotenuse natin dito? Okay, so, uh, so this is yung angle natin. So, we have sine 45 is equals to TE over A. So, TE at cosine yung ginamit. Okay, wait lang, baka yun sa drawing ko, no? Nag-angle yun, 45. This is also 45. So, since 45 degrees naman, it's the same, ano? Cosine 45 and sine 45 is the same. Okay? So, sine 45A. So, parehas lang naman yan ng value. So, for effective throat thickness, our equation is 0.707 ng W or equals to 0.707A. Yan yung kailangan natin sa effective throat diameter. Ba't kailangan natin effective throat diameter? That is to calculate yung magiging resistance natin. Okay? So, kasi di ba pinag-uusapan natin ay si weld, papasok pa din dyan yung stress na kayang i-induce ng weld natin, tapos yung P over A, and then yung area natin dito, that will be yung area ng thickness tsaka yung length niya. So, ito yun. Ito yung magiging natin, area na magre-resist nung mismong natin, loading natin. Okay? And for welding, ang kino-consider natin na critical siya is a shear. Always a shear. No? There were tests conducted by the code or by the professionals before, and they concluded na pagdating sa welded connection or sa fillet welds, sa shear lagi yung critical. Kaya laging shear yung magiging loading condition natin para sa fillet welds. Okay? So, kung yun yung magiging area natin, okay, ito yung magiging base naman dun sa code na resistance natin. Ito yung P natin dun sa formula natin dito previously. No? So, ano yung magiging P natin? So, of course, P natin will be equal sa F times yung A natin. So, ano yung magiging F times area? So, ito po yan. Sabi ni code o ng AASC, the design strength and allowable strength of welded joints shall be the lower value of the base material strength determined according to the limit state of tensile rupture or shear rupture, and weld metal strength determined according to the limit state of pressure as follows. So, bakit may dalawa? So, parang katulad nung sa bolted connection natin, ino-compare natin yung capacity ng bolt itself and then capacity ng plate material na binobolt natin. So, sa welds, ganun din. Yung capacity ng weld metal natin and then yung mismong workpiece o yung mismong plate na pinagko-connect natin. So, for the base metal, ito daw yung formula natin. Of course, FNBM, so that is nominal stress ng base material times yung area, cross-sectional area ng base material. And then for weld metal, that is nominal stress ng welding metal and then area nung effective area ng weld metal. Okay? So, yung value daw ng phi ng omega para dun sa LRF and ASD natin, ang FNBM tsaka FNW are given in table J2.5. So, J2.5, nilagay ko din po dito. Bibigay ko na lang po after discussion yung copy ninyo that you can print out para doon ilagay natin doon sa ating clear book. So, ito yung J2.5. And when you look at J2.5, that is a 2 pages na table. Ito yung sa fillet welds. Ano? So, for weld, ito yung formula niya. We have phi and omega kapag weld ang pinag-uusapan natin. Ang phi natin is 0.75, omega natin is 2.0. And then yung nominal stress natin, yung FNBM or FNW, is 0.6 ng FEXX. Ano po ba yung FEXX? So, si FEXX is actually yung stress Okay? Yung stress value nung mismong electrode natin. Okay? So, ang electrode kasi natin, pinapangalanan siya ng halimbawa E, tapos may dalawang number, and then may dalawa pang additional number. Ang important sa atin is yung dalawang number after nung letter E ng electrode natin. So, katulad ito, halimbawa itong nakalagay dito, E6011, E6011. Yung 60, ibig sabihin, yan yung strength nung mismong electrode natin, which is equivalent to 60 KSI. Okay? And then yung 1 and 2, hindi naman natin masyado concerned. Kaya ang nilalagay minsan, E60XX. Kasi itong condition na to is for the mechanical part now, dun sa mga welders na talaga na checking. Hindi na natin kailangan yun. Ano? Ang basta kailangan natin is to determine yung strength. So, pwede siya maging 60, 70, 80, 90, so on and so forth. So, kaya dapat ano yan, ano? So, para makuha yung nominal stress, i-multiply lang daw natin ng 60% yung value nung stress nung stress nung mismong electrode natin. So dito, again, ang ating electrode 60 KSI dito. Okay? So ibig sabihin 0.6 nung 60. Okay? Or 70, 80. Okay. So, and then for effective area o yung ABM o AWE, sabi C, yung code ulit ng J2.2A. So ito na lang po, nilagay ko na lang dito. Ang sabi dun sa code J2.2A, the effective area daw ng fillet weld shall be the effective length multiplied by the effective throat. So, from our previous discussion, na-determine natin na ang effective throat, ang thickness natin is 0.707A, and then yung length ng weld natin. That will be the area of the welded natin. So, para makuha yung resistance ng weld metal natin, that is yung FBN times yung area natin. Okay? So, ito yung mismong value natin for Rn pag kinalculate natin. Okay? So, that is for the weld metal. Again, we need to satisfy weld metal tsaka base metal. Ito pa lang po yung nakukuha natin. Yung sa weld metal pa lang. Ito yung formula niya. Next is yung sa base metal naman tayo. So, pag tininood yung J2.5, yung sa base metal niya, governed daw siya by Section J4 na AISC. And sabi ni Section J4 na AISC, ito po yun, ano? So, ang kinuha ko na lang yung element in shear kasi as I've said, for fillet welds, shear yung mag-govern sa ating loading. The available shear strength of affected connecting elements and shear shall be the lower value obtained according to the limits of shear yielding or shear rupture. So, yung formula niya, 0.6 FYAGV para sa yielding and 0.6 FU ANV. Okay? So makikita dito nagbabago po yung factor niya kung yielding and rupture yung ating kinakalculate. Okay? Kaya hindi natin pwedeng pagsamahin siya as one, ano? And then dito yung value ng AGB at ANB, iba sabi natin kapag welding naman, since wala naman tayong binubutas na plate o hindi natin kailangan magbutas, yung net area natin will be equivalent dun sa mismong gross area natin. Okay? So, dito, magbabago lang talaga yung factors lang. Okay? So, dapat alamin lang natin na pag yielding tayo, 1 and 1.5. Kapag rupture, that is 0.75 and 2. And then, that will be the strength of base metal natin. So, pag meron na tayo ng strength ng base metal, compare it with the strength of the weld metal, and then look for the lowest value, that will be the capacity of our weld connection. Yun na agad yung weld connection natin. So, ayun na agad yung analysis. After nun, na-identify mo na yung capacity ng weld connection mo. Okay? So, after nun, kung meron na tayong capacity, katulad nung sa bolt connection, kailangan din natin i-check kung yung na-satisfy na natin yung mga limitations ng weld natin. Meron siyang mga minimum sizes kasi. Minimum and maximum sizes. So, madali lang din siya i-check. For the minimum weld sizes, so titingnan natin siya sa table. So, kaya kailangan ma-check yung minimum weld size para daw hindi maiwasan yung heat sink effect, ano? Kasi kapag nagwe-weld tayo, 'di ba, may heat tayo tina-transfer dun sa mismong workpieces natin. And kapag yung weld is too small, yung plate will absorb the heat too rapidly o mabilis niyang i-absorb na nagre-result sa cooling ng weld. So, ibig sabihin, tumitigas agad siya kahit hindi pa natin na-form yung required na ah, na thickness para dun sa welding natin. Okay? So dito, ang kagandahan lang sa kanya, basta kung ano yung thickness ng material mo, i-check mo lang. Kung halimbawa, meron kang material na plate na 1/2, okay? So kailangan ang minimum size ng weld mo ay 3/16. Okay? So pag hindi na satisfy yung 3/16, edi mababiolate na natin tong minimum weld size natin. So you need to increase yung size ng weld mo. Okay? Then for the maximum weld size, ito naman po yung sinasabi ni code. So the maximum size of fillet welds of connected parts shall be either of these two, ano? So kung halimbawa, less than sa 1/4 daw, 1/4 inch o 6 mm yung thickness niya, pwedeng T na lang yung gagamitin natin, ang thickness itself. Pero pag halimbawa mas lumaki na sa 6 mm yung value ng plate na kinoconnect natin, kailangan gamitin natin yung formula T minus 1/16 or T minus 2. So bakit kailangan maglagay ng 2 mm kapag medyo makapal na yung mismong kinoconnect natin? Kasi di ba kung halimbawa papalampasin pa din natin to dito, anong nangyayari? Napupudpud din tong portion na to. So anong nangyayari? Parang nagiging ganito na yung shape ng ating connection, which is medyo naapektuhan yung strength development ng mismong ano natin. Okay? Kaya kailangan meron tayong allowance ng 2 mm kapag more than 1/4 o more than 1/4 or more than 6 mm na yung mismong thickness ng plate natin. Pero pag bawal less than, okay lang. No? Sabi ni code, inaalaw niya na kahit lumampas yung weld natin, kahit mas makapal yung weld natin doon sa mismong thickness ng plate, okay lang daw. Okay? So, ayan po yung limitation lang natin for welds. Yung minimum maximum weld natin. Okay? So now, to better understand siguro itong pinagsasabi kong mga bagay para dito sa weld connections natin, let's have an example. Okay? So let's have this example. Okay, so analysis pa lang po ito ha. So given halimbawa yung connection below, determine daw yung design strength if A572 grade 50. So design strength ng sinasabi. Ano? So ibig sabihin, pag sinabing design strength, LRFD po tayo. Okay? Pag allowable strength yung sinabi, that is ASD. So A572 grade 50 steel is used for the tension member. And then E70 electrodes are used for the fillet welds. Okay? So, tingnan natin ngayon yung mga capacity ng sections natin. So, una is yung properties natin. So, we have A572 grade 50. Okay? So, ano nga yung properties nito? We have Fy of how much? Pag A572 na grade 50, we have 50 KSI na Fy, then Fu of 65 KSI. Okay? And then we have E70 na electrodes. So, ano yung makukuha natin dito? Siyempre, meron tayong stress o strength ng electrode natin which is equivalent to 70 KSI, Kip per square inches. Okay? So, tingnan natin yung drawing natin. So, dito, we have an arrow. Yung arrow natin ito, okay? Ibig sabihin, meron tayong weld dun sa kung nasaan yung dito, no? Parang sa other side. Yung nakalagay sa kanya. Kaya doon sa nakatapat sa kanya dito, nandun pa sa kabila. Ano ba to? So alam natin na fillet welds to. Okay? So, ayan. So, since plate naman to, hindi masyado nagmamatter yung siding nito, ano? Kasi, parehas naman yung nilagyan ng arrow. Okay? Then, dito, meron tayong 5/16 na thickness ng weld. And then, meron tayong length na 15. So, all in all, ilan yung length ng weld natin? So, ibig sabihin, 2 times 15. Kasi dalawang side na tig 15 each. So, yun yung total length ng weld natin. For plate, we have 10 inches na width. And then, yung thickness niya ay 3/4. Okay, so kung kukunin natin yung capacity, sige, kunin natin yung, unahin natin is yung, try natin siguro yung weld metal capacity muna tayo. Okay? So, pag weld metal, pabalikan natin yung slide natin kanina. Pag weld metal, ito yung formula natin. 0.6 ng FEXX times 0.707 LW times A. Okay? So, dito, we have Rn is equals to 0.6 ng FEXX times 0.707 LWA. Okay? So, ano yung mga values natin? For A, ang A natin is yung sa, ano natin, yung legs ng mismong, ano natin, plate natin. So, paano ba to? Pag tinignan natin to dito, kunyari, ayan, ito yung magiging itsura kasi ng plate natin. Ano? Ito yung plate natin. Kung papahiga natin, ano, sige, para, ano, parang ito yung plate natin. Ito yung pagdudugsungan natin. Okay? Meron siya ditong, yan, may fillet weld siyang ganyan. Okay? So, yung thickness niya, as mentioned dito, 516. Okay? 516. So, ibig sabihin yung A natin is 516 inches. Okay? For LW, yung length ng weld natin, so we have 2 times yung length nito, which is 15. So, we have 2 times 15 inches tayo. So, lagi pong pinag-a-add, ano? So, kung halimbawa, that is, meron pa ditong weld din dito. So, yung perimeter natin na yun, ano? Kailangan natin yung total length ng weld natin. That is 30 inches. Okay? So, and FEXX natin, as mentioned, is 70. So, ang area natin is equals to 0.6 times 70 kip per inches squared times 0.707 times 30 inches times 516 inch. Okay? So, cancel natin yung inches, Rn. Okay? So, we have 0.6 times 70 times 0.707 times 30 times 5 over 16. That is 278.381 kips. And then, kung gusto natin ng VRN, according to our solution kanina, or sa discussion natin, that is 0.75. Ano? So, balikan lang natin yung sa J2 natin. Okay? So, ito po yun, ano? Yan. 0.75 yung fee natin. So, this will be times 0.75. That is 208.785 kips. Okay? So, this is the capacity of our well. Okay? So, that answers our first capacity para sa weld metal natin. Okay? Next, we calculate yung base metal capacity natin. Base metal capacity. Okay, so for base metal capacity, meron tayong dalawa na kino-consider, yung ating shear yielding and shear rupture. Okay, for shear yielding, kailangan nating Rn is equals to 0.6 Fy AGV. Okay, so ano yung AGV natin? Okay, so si AGV will be equals dun sa, ano ba yung kino-consider natin na kapag yung base metal natin, alin ba yung thickness na ano na exposed dun sa welding natin. So syempre, dito sa diagram natin, ito 'yon, and ito yung thickness na 'yan, ano? Ito, no? Itong portion na to, pag sinide view natin, ito yung thickness na 'yan, and that is how much? That is 3/4. Okay? 3/4 times yung length ng weld natin. Okay? So, AJB will be equals to length ng weld times yung thickness ng plate natin. So, that is equals to 30 inches. And then, according dito, that is 3/4. So, 3/4 inch. So, ang AJB natin will be equals to 30 times 0.75. That is 22.5 inches squared. Okay? That is AJB. So, ang RN natin will be equals to 0.6. Ang FY natin will be 50 kasi yung material ang pinag-uusapan natin. Times 22.5 inches squared. So, RN natin is 0.6 times 50 times 22.5. That is 675 kips. And for shear yielding, ang fee natin is 1.0. Ano? So, pag tinignan ulit natin dito, ang fee natin for shear yielding ay 1.0 for LRFD. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, that will be the same value na 675 kips. Okay? That is for shear yielding. For shear rupture, the formula is Rn 0.6 Fu A and V. Pero again, as mentioned, for welding, A and V is equals sa AGB. So this is 0.6 times 65 kip per inches squared times 22.5 inches squared. Cancel natin yung inches squared. So Rn, 0.6 times 65 times 22.5, that is 877.5 kips. So ang VRN natin, so this is for rupture, so 0.75 times 877.5 kips. VRN is equals to 658.125 kips. Okay? So, comparing all yung capacity na kuha natin, so ito yung para sa shear rupture ng base metal, shear yielding ng base metal, and this is for our weld metal capacity. Ang governing natin na VRN is of course yung lowest, which is 208.785 kips. This will be our capacity ng welded connection natin. Kasi yung pinakamababang value na na-calculate natin na Rn based sa weld capacity and sa base metal capacity. Okay? Okay, next is to check whether we satisfy yung limitation natin for weld sizes. Okay? So, kunin natin ngayon yung A minimum tsaka yung A maximum natin. Okay? So, for A minimum, diba, ang kailangan natin is i-compare daw yung A natin na actual. So, yung A actual natin based from our calculation earlier, ang A natin ay yung 516. Okay? 516 inches. Okay? And yung thickness ng plate natin, that is how much? 3/4. Okay? 3/4 inch. Okay, so according dun sa table, let's look at the table. Okay, this is a table. So, kung ano man yung material thickness natin is 3/4. So, over 1/2 to 3/4, ito yon. Ang A minimum daw niya dapat ay 1/4. Okay? So, ang ginamit natin ay 516. 516 is greater than 1/4. So, therefore, okay tayo doon sa A minimum. So, dito dapat ay 1/4 inch. Requirement natin. This is according to table. Lagay ko lang yung table. J2.4. Table J2.4. Okay? Then for area maximum, we have two values. So we have t or t minus 1 over 16. That is kapag yung TP natin is less than ng 1/4 inch or yung TP natin is equal or greater than sa 1/4 inch. So since yung TP natin is 3/4, so greater than siya ng 1/4, so ito yung magiging formula natin. So t minus 1 over 16, that is 3/4 minus 1 over 16. So that is 11 over 16. Okay? A max natin. Okay? So since yung A min natin is less than dun sa actual A natin, less than dun sa A maximum natin, therefore, the weld size limitation is satisfied. Okay? Kasi nasa in between tayo no value ng A minimum and A maximum for our weld. Question po? Okay, so that is for the capacity of the welded connection. Okay, so to practice yung learning natin with this lecture, I will be uploading a problem set with regards dun sa calculation ng welded connection analysis, So I will be uploading this sa Neo. Okay, so two question lang, ayan, determining what is being asked, and then you have this particular type of connections, or syempre fillet welds lang din yan. Then using the principles discussed dun sa lecture natin. Okay? So, kung no more question, tama ba? Wala bang question? Ha? Ay, kung no question, that ends our lecture for today. Okay? So, today is just yung analysis natin. So, when po exam? Okay? So, wait lang. Okay, so this ends our lecture, no?